You read the title right. This kit is almost perfect. This is the Revive Char's Zaku 2. It has amazing proportions, a good amount of accessories, some really surprising articulation, but there's just one thing holding it back from perfection. Is this the greatest Zaku kit of all time? Well, let's talk about it. What's up guys, it's Mac, and man, I can't believe it took me so long to get to this kit, but this is a sleeper build, that's for sure. This is the Revive Char's Zaku 2. So here's a quick look at the box. I'm not gonna go through it because I already did a full unboxing and Let's Build, so go check that video out if you haven't already. But with that out of the way, let's take a look at the kit itself. So a little bit of backstory behind this kit. I got it from Hobby Lobby at a reduced price and I paid about $8 for this kit. And at the time, I didn't think too much about it, but man, after building this kit, I can say that it is totally worth the money. And it might be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, high-grade Zaku kits of all time. That's right, even beating out the Origin Zaku kits, which those kits on their own are really good. But man, this kit just does so much stuff right. I do have one minor gripe about it, which I will get into a little bit later. But before we get into all that, we're actually gonna do things a little bit differently and start off with the accessories. Now you did already see most of the accessories in the intro, so we're gonna get the standard stuff all the way, and then we're gonna talk about one extremely unique accessory that I was not expecting with this kit. So starting off with the standard armament, we do get the classic Zaku machine gun here, and I do have a trigger finger attached to the gun already. For moving parts, it does of course have a moving handle. The scope can also move, and the ammo clip is removable. There you go. As you can see, if you're wondering, it does have a little cross connection there. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on that. So you can see that, and it also has a little peg that sticks out that sticks into that little hole. So that allows for a nice insecure connection. So the ammo clip is not going anywhere. Next up, we get the Zaku bazooka. So pretty standard. It has a movable handle like the machine gun, and it also has a removable scope. Now the kit actually does come with a extra trigger finger here, so you can have the kit dual-wielding both the machine gun and the bazooka if you wanted to. But another cool feature is on the back of the Zaku, it does have a pull-out little place here to where you can store the bazooka. So it just plugs right in there like that, and there you go. So you can have the bazooka stored on the Zaku like you saw in the intro. The final standard weapon that this kit comes with is the classic Zaku Heat Hawk. So here it is, just one solid piece, all in gray. As you can see, it is missing a little bit of paint if you want to paint the tip of the Heat Hawk yellow to make it a little bit more accurate. But other than that, not really anything else to say about this accessory. And as a bonus, it does come with a connector piece, which can then be used to store the Heat Hawk on the hip, as you can see, and it can be stored on either side. All right, next up, let's talk optional accessories. And first, we're gonna talk hands. Okay, so talking hands, it does come with a good amount of extra stuff, but starting off, of course, it comes with the standard open hands that are already on either arm. He also comes with two trigger finger hands here, so we can get this into focus here. There you go, you can see they have a good amount of detail here. And you also might notice that the little peg is at a slight angle, and that's to help with holding the weapons. He also comes with an expressive open hand, which I always like when kits include extra stuff like this. So you can see again, nicely detailed as well. And then finally, he does come with a bonus open hand. So there you go, pretty standard there. When storing the weapons in the hand, it does help because the hand does have a little hole that does match up perfectly with the peg on the gun. So what that means is you get a nice secure connection then when you attach the other part of the hand, like so, it does allow for extremely solid connection, so the weapons are not going anywhere. And finally, before we get into the most unique accessory, he does come with an extra ammo clip, which can be stored on the Zaku. So as you can see, it can be stored on the hip, like so, but it can also fit right in here on the back as well. So there you go. You got more options when it comes to storing the ammo clip. Okay, and finally, the final accessory, and by far the most unique accessory, is it does come with, as you can see, optional skirting armor. Now, if you're wondering what's different about this one compared to the one that's on the Zaku, is this is actually made out of rubber. Now, at first, I wasn't sure what to think about these, but as you can see, once you get to the articulation, these make a huge difference when it comes to hip mobility. So we'll be sure to talk about that. But as you can see, we get the front and back skirts, and then we get the side skirts. And again, these are soft rubber skirting armor compared to the one that's on here, which is a harder standard plastic. So we'll get into that once we get into the articulation. An optional accessory that I forgot to mention is that it does come with an action base adapter. So if you want to get your kit on an action base, it can with no problems. Okay, so let's do it. Let's get to the articulation. So we're gonna start off here with the head. Can go up and down, as well as side to side here. And of course you get rotation, pretty standard. Now for the arms, they can rotate a full 360, of course. This arm can go out about that much. If you can move the shield a little bit, you can go maybe a little bit further. You get rotation at the bicep. The elbow is at a double joint, so you get a nice full bend out of that. And a really unique aspect with this kit is it does have separate wrist articulation. So this is on a little mini ball joint here. So you get extremely good range of motion out of the arm. It also does have a pop-out joint here, so you can get the arm to reach across extremely far here. So that's extremely good for when it comes to dual wielding the machine gun. So we'll get into that a little bit later. And my one complaint about this kit is the shield here. So for some reason on my kit, it's extremely loose. So you can see it's just a simple plug that goes into the hole. But for some reason, it just doesn't seem to be a satisfying fit. So it does, stay in relatively well, but as soon as you kind of start to move it around a little bit, it does get extremely loose and it can come out easy. So that is really my only complaint about this kit, and that is what holds it back from being a perfect kit. Now, yes, that might just be me nitpicking, but if we're going for perfection, the kit's gotta be solid everywhere, and it's definitely less solid feeling in this area. My other complaint, if I had one, is when you try to replace the hands, it is a little bit easy to kind of pop the wrist joint off as well. So you just gotta be careful with that. So just kind of hold it at the wrist joint and then take the hands off that way. So there we go. Next up, we'll get into the waist. It does actually have some waist rotation, which is nice because the original high-grade Zaku 2 they don't have any rotation at the waist. So now we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison going over the side skirt articulation so you can see the differences in the skirting armor. So we're gonna start off with the plastic version first. So with that, we do get the skirting armor to kind of move up. Now, the issue with this is, as you can see, it's just a simple ball joint for the front skirts. And they do kind of pop off a little bit easy, but you can get maybe about that much for the front skirts. Side skirts can move about that much, and the back skirts, of course, do not move. So with the skirting armor out of the way, we're gonna get about that much for a forward kick. Going back, as you can see, it's very limited there. And then going out to the side, we only get about that much. So a little bit limiting when it comes to articulation. And as you can see, the front skirt armor does come off very easily. So that would be another, I guess, strike against this kit. But once we switch it over to the rubber skirting armor, it fixes all of those problems. Now, the only drawback to the skirting armor is that it does not have the holes for the connection points. So you can only store the weapons on the hard armor compared to the rubber armor. So you gotta sacrifice one thing: weapon storage or articulation. All right, getting into the knee bend, it does bend at 2 joints, as you can see here. So you do get, again, a nice full bend out of that. So you can almost get him to kick his own butt if you wanted to. But very cool, and you can kind of see how the wire moves with the knee joint as well. So let's show that again. Very nice piece of movement there. And then finally, getting into the foot articulation. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. It might or might not be able to see the joint that's in there. Probably not. Maybe if I move the light a little bit closer. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna be able to see it, but there is a joint inside there, so you can get it to kind of rock back and forth and kind of, there you go, you can see in there. So the joint that attaches up here can get the foot to move back and forth. And there's another joint that attaches more at the bottom of the foot, so you get some more rocking out of that. So with that, and of course, the top part of the foot can move as well. So if we can get that to move out of the way, we can get extremely nice ankle pivots there. So check that out. So we can get it to rock and then get the foot to go all the way out that much, and then to have it go all the way out the other way. So really good movement there. This top part is just on a ball joint, so you can get that to move a little bit and wiggle. And then of course, we do get some rotation there. So extremely good articulation for the ankle as well. Okay, just quickly go over some articulation points that I missed. He also does have a little bit of an ab crunch here because it is a ball joint. And there also is separate rotation at the elbow joint. So we can get this part to rotate as well as the bicep there. Man, even as I play around with this guy, I'm discovering more articulation. So one thing that I forgot to mention is actually at the chest. So this part is actually on a little sliding mechanism, so you can get it to kind of move out of the way. And this part is on a separate ball joint, so that allows for even more movement at the shoulder, as you can see here. So you get up and down and side to side here, as well as that little pivot joint in there. So check that out. That is some insane shoulder articulation. Okay, and one more thing I did forget to mention is that at the waist joint, there is a little bit of a swivel here as well at the thigh. Okay, so if you're curious about switching out the skirting armor, I'm going to show that real fast. So the process is pretty simple. So you want to do is just attach the waist, chest from the waist as so. And as you can see, there is a little gray stopper piece in there. So you're gonna wanna remove this piece. So this piece just comes right off like so, and that allows for easy removal of the skirting armor. So the back skirt just gets removed like that, and then you can take the front skirting off like so. So there we go. All right, now we're gonna bring in the rubber skirting armor. So these ones is simple enough. It just slides right on in like so. So there you go. We got the front and back skirting armor, and then we just take the side skirting armor. Now there is a orientation difference, so you might notice that the gaps will be bigger on this side. So you want to make sure that you line it up this way so it can fit into that little plug in there. So just gonna go right on in like that. And then finally, we're gonna get the little stopper piece, and then we're gonna close it back up. So this just goes over like that. Push it down, there we go. Make sure everything's nice and situated. And then you can just reattach the chest, and there you go. And with the rubber skirting armor applied, it opens up so much of the articulation. So you can get into some crazy poses like this one. And as you can see, the kit can easily do the full splits. And you also get a improved ab crunch with the rubber skirting armor, as you can see here. So side to side, up and down, and of course, you still get that full rotation. And one final fun optional gimmick that this kit has is it does have a moving mono eye. So to get to it, as you can see, if you look at the bottom here, It does have a little slider, so if you slide it to the middle, it does move the eye a little bit. So let's see if it can show it in action here. So there we go. Get it moved to the left, move it to the right, and yeah, pretty solid, pretty good, especially compared to some of the older Zaku kits. And this brings us back to the original point of the video. Is this kit perfect? Well, what defines perfection? To me, I think it's very subjective. In my opinion, this kit almost checks all the marks of what defines a perfect kit. This kit has extremely good color separation, is extremely anime accurate, has some really good articulation, and the only thing holding it back is how solid the kit is. If it wasn't for the loose shield and the loose wrists, then yes, this kit, in my opinion, would be perfect. So at the end of the day, if you're looking for a Zaku kit that has simplistic yet anime accurate proportions, has some amazing articulation, the build is not too difficult, and has some really unique accessories, then this kit is perfect for you. And if you haven't built any Zaku kit, I would highly recommend this version. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give this video a like, leave a comment if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and don't forget to subscribe as well as turn on notification bell. And do let me know in the comments, what do you think is the perfect Zaku kit? And always remember to build, play, and display, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.